This year, Homestead native Charlie Batch had a grand opening of a new facility for his foundation. The Best of the Batch Foundation continues to help thousands of children in Western Pennsylvania.
But Charlie doesn't share the true reason why he started the foundation often.
I held it tight. I didn't talk a lot about it during my time, but when I did, I became emotional.
Tonight, and only on 4, the former Steeler quarterback sits down and talks one-on-one with reporter Chandy Chapman.
He tells the personal family story of his loved one who pushes him to give back to the community every single day.
Most people know NFL quarterback Charlie Batch as a Pittsburgh Steeler and 2-time Super Bowl champion. A younger generation knows him as a friend and a mentor who's at the Best of the Batch Foundation almost every day, impacting lives. But Charlie started the foundation when he turned a personal tragedy into his life's purpose.
At 6 years old, Charlie Batch became passionate about football. But his mother, Lynn Settles, wasn't sure he should get on the field.
She's like, okay, I'm gonna let him play. And her goal was, I get hit hard enough, I never want to do it again. And the time that I got hit, I got up and was like, oh, this is how we play this game. And it completely backfired, against her.
So Charlie practiced after school and worked on his quarterback arm during his part-time job as a paper boy.
I would stand in the middle of the street, and then I would just test my accuracy.
You never knew that you were perfecting your profession.
I didn't know that. I didn't. But for me, it was all a game.
Charlie turned his love for the game into so much more. He played in the NFL for 15 seasons and used that platform to create Best of the Batch Foundation. Being the oldest of 3 children, Charlie wanted to be a good role model for his siblings, especially without a father in the home.
I just remember as we got older, I remember my sister would always say, you're not my dad. You can't tell me what to do. And I'm like, well, Mom left me in control. And because she left me in control, I get to tell you what to do.
He may have been in charge, but it was his little sister, Danielle, that pushed the future leader to be his best.
What's the thing that you miss most about her?
I think just the laughs, the conversations, and the competitiveness. And she always had a way to kind of nudge you a little bit, to kind of get the best out of you, even though you're like, that's just little sister, But ultimately, she knows how to push those buttons.
Then suddenly, his motivating force was gone.
My sister was walking down the street from her friend's house, and she got caught in crossfire between rival gangs, and the guy that she was with used her as a body shield. And Danielle was only 17 years old, and she never had an opportunity to live life.
So when did you first find out that your life was changed forever?
It was, February 18, 1996. And I remember my roommates were answering the phone, and they said, hey, Charlie, your mom's on the phone. And ultimately, I remember picking up that phone, and there was dead silence on the phone. And I said, okay, what's going on? And my mom just saying, you need to come home. And I just remember what the deepest swallow that I've ever heard in my life. My mom said, Charlie, your sister's been shot and killed. And I'm like, what?
When Charlie arrived from Eastern Michigan University to his hometown, Homestead, he drove up to East Laurel Way, an alley he used to walk down all the time, now a crime scene. His sister, an innocent bystander, shot to death. Charlie has only driven down that alley a couple of times since that tragic day and doesn't talk publicly about it often.
But I never was bold enough to really make that right down that alley, and it took a long time for me to do that, especially going through that alley knowing of what happened 28 years ago, and that was tough. And now looking at East Laurel Way, it's a street that doesn't bother me as much, but it still doesn't take away the memories of what happened here on that evening.
Charlie felt like he should give up his dream of playing football and stay with his family. But his mother told him go back to college and fight for justice by becoming the man he is today.
As everything was happening, she just kept saying, fight it a different way. Fight it a different way.
At the funeral home while mourning his sister, Charlie made a vow to start the Best of the Batch Foundation.
It was one memory I'll never forget. I remember sitting on those steps. And I said at that point, if I was ever in position to give back, I would, because I never want another family to feel the way that we did during that time.
The foundation was created in 1999, a year after Charlie was drafted by the Detroit Lions in the second round. It helps children by providing educational-based programs.
Throughout the years, Charlie and his team have taken a house on West Street and transformed it into a 33,000 square foot facility.
I knew I would be helping kids as I finished up, but to this magnitude, I couldn't tell you that it was going to be that way without that resiliency moment happening in my life. And I think ultimately, as we fight to keep her name alive and the memory alive, it's just as kids are, coming through here and reminding them, we want you to be the best of the batch.
His family's story helps other grieving families navigate their trauma. He thinks of Danielle during Christmas when Charlie and the team delivered presents to more than 1,000 kids. He says Danielle had a giving heart and generous spirit.
We don't know how many kids my sister would have had. And then when you now are able to do that now and being able to put smiles on kids' faces during the holiday time.
Although the facility is surrounded by places that remind him of Danielle, like the cemetery where she's buried, knowing his little sister is close to the foundation gives him comfort.
The fork in the road, I would always make the right to go to my mom's. And I never could make that left. As you go through that healing process and being able to drive through, I know she's smiling down on us, and from where we are to where she's buried at, you can see the building. And I think that is special. That really is. Didn't even know it was built like that, I promise you.
As Charlie visits Danielle's grave, he's reminded of why he pushes to fulfill his life's purpose.
Hopefully you're proud of me.
But he'd give up all his success to see Danielle one last time.
Walk right up to heaven and bring you home again.
Charlie and his family now have closure, but not legal justice. The case ended in a mistrial. Charlie says he randomly gets letters from jail offering leads, and some officials who were close to that case have approached him about how it ended decades later.
Words couldn't describe it as far as how I felt in that particular manner, but to have that happen after 25 years, it was just like, I don't know if this is closure. I don't know what this means. All I know is we have to continue to push forward.
The person who took Danielle's life was never convicted, but Charlie says he's found peace, knowing that his sister is looking down and is proud of the way he's honoring her life while changing countless others. Reporting in Munhall, Chandy Chapman, Pittsburgh's Action News 4.
Wow. Our thanks to Chandy for bringing us that story. A really great look into Charlie Batch's really motivation and inspiration for all that he does.
Turning tragedy into something very, very positive that continues to impact Western Pennsylvania. Well done, Charlie.